hold on. Coming. I got a different setup. I'm standing tonight, so it's a little different. Okay, I have my chair, all my stuff. Hopefully you guys can all hear me. That was a Smeer song, by the way. For those of you that want to know. There's a reason I'm playing that song. Okay. Good. Cool. Let's see. Test 1, 2, test 1, 2. Yeah, it's working. All right, let me go to my main cam. All right. There you go. How's life, folks? Let me check this level. That looks like it's all right. I gotta get in shape. Jesus. Not used to playing. I'm trying to play standing up all the time now because you play so much sitting down, you start to get used to sitting down, and when you stand up, it's a little different. So the last couple of weeks, I've been just always practicing and playing standing up. And there's a reason I need to do that, because something's coming up that I need to get ready for, and I will fill you in on that as soon as we go back to the chat and say hi to everybody. Hopefully I don't screw anything up here. All right. Okay, that's good. I can see that. Always takes me a few minutes because I need a producer in here to kind of flick the switches and do the technical stuff while I concentrate on just doing the show. All right. We got Ben. How's it going, Ben? Good show last night. Really good. Always enjoy seeing your shows on Sunday, and last night was really cool. Sammy was a great guitarist. Zach Thong. How are you, Zach? Nice to see you. Gary Tholander's in here. Gary has a show that he does on Saturday nights, I think. Always a lot of fun. Wolverine. What's going on, Wolverine? CN8800. That's my friend John. How's it going, John? Always nice to see you. Not in, like, we're not seeing each other in person or anything, but it's nice to see you in the chat. Hopefully I'll run into you this summer sometime when I'm in New Brunswick. Let's see what else we got in here. Tom R. Hi. How's it going, Tom? We've got Joe Hervey, of course. How's it going, Joe? More metal. Brian S. Guitar and Dudes and Dudettes. What's going on, Brian? Brian and Dave R. have a good show that happens every Wednesday night. The Live Wires. Catch that, 9 o'clock Eastern. Definitely. BV Ninja. What's going on, BV? I'm not sure where you're at this, what part of the world you're in. You're always somewhere. I think last time I saw you in a chat, you were in, gonna say Japan or something. So I'm not sure where you're at tonight, but hey, fill us in. Thanks for joining us live. Jack the Rabbit. How are you, Jack? See Jack all the time in the streams, that is. Let's see. And if you do have a question or something for me, definitely tag me here so that I can see it. And if I miss your name here, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to... Brad Hegan. What's going on, Brad? I think Brad just moved into a new house, or he's about to. He's going to be building a studio in there. That'll be really fun. Yeah, Brian S. says a Super Bowl hangover. Yeah, I kind of had the Super Bowl on in the background. I was watching the live streams and stuff at the same time, and I'm glad Kansas won. It's about time. Garguts Entertainment, how are you? Quentin James in here. How's it going, Quentin? Yeah, who's going to be KC in the next decade? The Bills. Sorry, I'm a little bitter about the Bills. They had a good season this year, but they get screwed up in the playoffs. And there we go. Going back down. Smear, yeah, that was a Smear song. A little story behind that song. I think that was one of the first songs I wrote for that band back in 2000. Well, I probably wrote it in 2002, but we recorded it in 2003. And it was one of our bigger songs. So a lot of fun to play. Not very difficult or anything, but it's got good energy. Stephen S, what's going on? Stephen. Brad Egan says, what's the tuning for most Smear stuff? Most Smear, well, it varies. The first album, definitely there was more drop D, and it's all half step down as well. We did do some stuff in drop C. And the funny thing is, when you see, that's been so long ago that I wrote a lot of these songs, and I did a lot of alternative type of tunings. One of the songs that was probably our biggest song, it was an acoustic song, believe it or not, and it was something I recorded. It was a last minute. It was on the first album. It was like, I just want to get a different song on the album. We had like 10 songs and pretty hard rocking songs and stuff, and I wanted to do something completely different and put it as the last track, like a bonus track. And I had that song sitting around for a few months. I was working on it, and it was one of those things I just said, let's just roll it. We were in the studio, we put a mic in front of the acoustic, I sat, recorded it, Ryan sang it, and we released it that way on the first album. And it wasn't like, if you listen to that song on the first album, it's just acoustic guitar and singing. There's no big production or anything. On the second album, we did it again, but the producer put a bunch more production into it, like orchestra, violins, and all kinds of stuff. And everybody still prefers that first one. It was raw. It was like really a lot more scaled down. And I agree. But they liked the song, and it did well for us in the first album, so they said, let's do it on this second album, but really put the production value in it, because it was kind of a last minute thing we did on the first album. It's funny how those songs are. Sometimes those are the best songs. You think, oh, well, we're not going to put a lot of production in it, and it was just kind of let's do it. It was not in a hurry, but it was a last minute decision, and it turned out to be, one of our better or biggest hits anyway, as far as getting airplay and getting some attention. So it's funny how that works. But yeah, that song I played tonight was called Your Time, and that was tuned drop D. Everything is one half step down. And funny enough, I didn't tune my guitar half step down for that. I did tune it drop D, but I'm using my drop pedal from Digitech, the D drop or whatever. And instead of having to tune everything, I just hit that, and I can go half step down. If I was like just for jamming like that tonight, that's fine to use that pedal. But if I was going to record or something and I needed to record, tune my guitar differently, I wouldn't use the pedal. I would actually tune the guitar that way, because you lose a little bit in the frequency range, and there's a little bit of a digital artifacts in it, because it is a digital type of thing that's happening. It's doing like a pitch shift or something to give your guitar the sense of being tuned down or whatever. So, for example, let me show you. All right. So right now, I'm using that drop pedal, and it's a one half step down, but I'm tuned in drop D, obviously. See? Because a regular tuning would sound like this. Well, it would still be drop D, but I'd be regular 440. Watch. So if I hit that. Now I'm back to regular 440, but drop D. So when you hit the pedal, you lose some of the frequency. Like you can tell it's a little bit higher frequency, and there's no digital artifacts when you're just not using the pedal. But as soon as you use the pedal, you'll hear a difference in the frequency. Watch. That's regular, no pedal. This is with the pedal. So it's just a convenience thing for me when I'm jamming and I need to jam along with a song that's tuned differently, and I don't want to go through the steps of tuning my guitar a whole half step down or a full step or whatever, I just need to play that song just to kind of learn it or something, I'll just hit the pedal. So it's fine for that. All right. Sorry about that. I went on a little adventure there. Hopefully that was entertaining. Let's see, where the hell? I think I lost my space here, but anyway, if I missed your name, I'm sorry. Just tag me in the chat. I'll get to you. David Ennis, how's it going, David? BB Maid. There we go. We've got it. I think we've got everybody. Again, if I missed you, I'm sorry. Paul Lou, how's it going, Paul? Won a 31. There's Won a 31. He won a prize. I think he did win headphones or something. The last giveaway I had. We've given away a few things on this channel. We've given away what? 2 pedals, maybe 3 pedals, and some headphones and all kinds of cool stuff. Welcome to the gun show. I haven't been working out in a long time, my friend. It's been at least a year of. I have a little gym downstairs, and I used to do a little bit, a few times a week. But man, the last year, hardly anything. But I am on that keto diet, which keeps me from gaining weight. Live wires is in the house. All right. Okay. I think Brad's moving as we speak. All right. Well, good luck with the move, Brad. Hope everything goes smoothly for you. So BV is in Kyoto, on to Tokyo on Thursday. Wow. Well, safe travels, my friend. Safe travels. That's quite a ways, man. Hope you're not affected by that whole virus thing that's happening. It's kind of scary stuff. Just talking to Sammy right now. Cool, BB. Say hi to us. To him from us. James Severin, hello. DR Guitars. Everybody's in the house tonight. That's good stuff. Custom Cote, yeah. Got something coming. It's supposed to get here tomorrow. Going to get here tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet, but it's coming. And it's my first purchased. It is a guitar. Let's be clear about that. It is a guitar. It's the first time that I've purchased a guitar from Reverb. So we'll see how that experience goes. So far, it's been pretty smooth. Got a great deal. Put in an offer, came back, I countered, and then we agreed on a price. And hopefully, when it gets here tomorrow, I'm not hit with some friggin' crazy custom brokerage and tax and all this other stuff, because that will just bring the price up to, well, it's still good. It still would be what I would have paid here. But if those fees aren't too bad, then it's going to work out to be a very good deal. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. And if you were paying attention while I was doing the intro song, you would have seen something else in the shot. I don't know if anybody. I'll wait a few minutes, and you guys can put it in the chat if you notice something different while I was playing. There was something in the shot that was there that was not there before, and I'll give you the story about that. I'll give you a few minutes just to see if anybody picked that up. It's kind of it was there the whole time. I don't know if anybody saw it, but it's pretty obvious what it is. Gary Tholander says, "Are the BMWs lonely in the garage? Do you go and talk?" No, they're pretty lonely. They're undercover. They're under the covers and everything. I'm so looking forward to riding. Oh, Brian S. Oh boy, yeah, you got it, buddy. Look at that. So this is part of our topic tonight. And the topic was finding your voice and tones and trying to figure out what works for you and exploring many options. So this happened on the weekend. And there's a story behind that. I went to Cosmo Music, and I was kind of going there to try out a bunch of different things. And the reason I wanted to try out this amp was obviously I saw it at NAMM, and I spoke to Dave, and I've always been a fan of his stuff, so I really wanted to try it. So I tried it over there at the store, and liked it, but I needed to bring it to my environment here in the studio to really get a sense of if it would work for me as far as the stuff that I do. And because the friggin' thing is very loud, let's put it that way. I barely have the master volume on here, and it's still, and I bought a used 112 cab from Orange. So I paired that with that, and I used the XLR out of that amp into my mixer to bring it into my, direct in if I wanted to do that. So I got it on Saturday, and I started playing around with it here on mostly Saturday and Sunday, trying to, gauge on whether it would work for me and how different was it from the Helix. How much am I matching my tones using the Helix or using the amp? Am I really feeling a lot of difference in dynamics when I'm playing through the amp? So that's the reason I needed to bring it home with me so that I could try it. And I got a good relationship with the music store Cosmo, and they always give me, I always get 30 days with the gear, and if I don't like it, I can bring it back, or if I can choose something else or whatever. So right now, the verdict, it's still early. I still got to do some tweaking and some stuff on the weekend. What you heard through the live part tonight, the intro, was not using that amp, by the way. It was using the Helix. The Helix was set up with a patch that very much it's a Friedman amp model. Got the tones where I like them, and the Helix still works better in my environment, just because going through the system and the monitors and everything. But the Friedman is, totally awesome. Don't get me wrong. It's super cool. And if I was playing live, that would be the amp that I think I would be playing live with. That and maybe a 212 cab or a 112. It's a monster amp for that. In my little studio, though, it is a challenge, because to get to where I really like that tone in the amp, I crank the gain pretty high, and I put it on the JBE, which is the higher saturation channel. And but you got to crank that master up a little bit to get a lot of that power amp to really hit, right? So the power section. And I'm telling you, it's way loud. In here, it's insane. If I put it up to where I want it, which would be around 4 or 5 to really kick in, I can't play in the studio here with a cabinet. It's just way too loud. I would have to put the cabinet somewhere else and mic it, or it's very different. So it still sounds good, like when you turn down the volume. Like right now, I could play through it and it would be fine in here, but obviously when you turn it up a little bit more, it opens up a lot more, and it sounds better in my opinion. But so that's what I'm playing with right now to try to gauge whether or not. And the other thing I did with that amp on the weekend was I went through my Helix and I did the 4 cable method. And some of you that know what that's about is when you incorporate your Helix with your amp and you go through the effects loop, and there's a whole schematic thing where you put your cables in. And the problem with that is it works, but I found it very very noisy. Like you get a lot of kind of noise from, I don't know if it's coming from the Helix, if it's too many cable runs, or something about it that it doesn't work as good as I would like it to work. So right now I just unplugged that whole version, and if I use the amp, I use the amp, and if I use the Helix, I use the Helix. I don't use both in conjunction. I was trying to use the effects in the Helix through the Friedman, which would give me reverb and delay and stuff, which the Friedman doesn't have natively. It has, it doesn't have any of those effects. So if I do end up keeping the Friedman, I'll probably pick up a couple of pedals, probably like a reverb pedal and maybe a boost or something different. But right now, I don't know if I am keeping it, just because I'm looking for something specifically studio-based. And I did try some other amps while I was there, but I was really geared towards this amp because this is my sound is really geared around that Friedman tone. So I said I need to take this one with me and then really see if it's going to work. But I tried some other amps there. One of the amps that really surprised me, and you're gonna be shocked when I tell you what the hell it is, because like people who know me and the style I play and everything would never associate me with that type of amp, because it's not known for doing the tones that I'm into as far as the music that I write. But it's a Fender amp. I was surprised, and it's not even a tube amp. It's that new Tone Master amp. I compared it with some other tube amps side by side, and I was just playing through them. And man, that thing was like, it sounded so nice, and the clean on it was amazing. You put a distortion pedal or any pedal through that amp and it sounded like flawless. It was just so transparent, and it felt really nice. So, and what I did like about that amp too, it has the interface in the back where you can cut the power down. You can go direct out. The direct out I didn't try, obviously, because I was in the store. I was just trying it, through its native cab or whatever. But I was surprised with that amp. And I saw a lot of people online doing reviews and stuff about the Tone Master amps, and they're like, this thing sounds amazing. And people weren't expecting it to sound the way it does or feel the way it does, because it's a solid state amp. It's weird. It's kind of modeling with solid state power and real speakers. It's just weird, the whole concept of it. But I think they nailed it with that one. And I don't know. I might give that amp another go, because in the studio it might be a nice platform to work out of. So I don't know. I'm still searching. It's weird when every time I think I'm done with tone chasing, or I'm just gonna focus on the Helix and that's all I'm gonna worry about, I always kind of veer off little ways to see if there's something I'm missing or something that I can try differently that's going to inspire something different of me. You get bored sometimes. You use the same stuff, or you need to get inspired by using something different, or sometimes you just don't know because you've never tried something that, like the Fender amp. I rarely ever played through a Fender amp. I never even looked at them because they weren't my thing. So the other day, I was waiting for the guys to get the cabinet for this one. I was in the amp room at Cosmo, and it was sitting in front of me. So I just plugged in, and I plugged in using an ESP guitar of all guitars, and it was like, holy shit, this thing sounds pretty good. So keep stay tuned, I should say, because we'll see where I end up with it in this month. I really want to focus on trying to figure out what I want to use in the studio as a basis. I'm getting ready to record now because some of the songs are coming together. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to use for my tones. You can use plugins, you can use the Helix, you can use real amps. I want to go through all of the options and see what's going to work the best. Guitar that says, get a cab with a vintage 30 and that amp will come. Well, that's what I'm using now. I'm using that orange. I don't know if you can see it back there. It's back there. The orange amp, or cabinet, I should say. It's a 112. It's a vintage 30 in there as well. And it sounds killer, but man, it's friggin' loud in here. Yeah. But we'll see. Cosmo's a great store. Yeah, Cosmo's got a lot of options for you. That's why I like going there. That's where you're going to get this type of stuff, right? So the Fender cleans. Yeah, Doctor, I was just blown away by how good that sounded, and it has built-in reverb and the tremolo and all that. And I was just playing around with it. What I want to try with that amp, to be honest with you, is I want to try a synergy module. So I would use the Fender clean, basically, which is what it is, and I would plug in the synergy module into the effects loop, and it would create a whole separate channel. So you would just be using the clean power and the speakers of that amp, and then you could get a BE module or a diesel or whatever it is for your high gain. I want to see what that sounds like through that amp. So that might be the way I go, just to my next round of testing to see what I end up with. I might try that because they do have the synergy stuff at this store that I go to, Cosmo. Frozen Fury, how's it going? Nice to see you. Helix has very good Fender amps. Yeah, the Helix has don't get me wrong, I love the Helix and I use it all the time, and I've gotten pretty good at creating patches and working with it. I just want to see if it's not even the sound is not a problem. I just want to see if there's a real big difference in the dynamics actually playing through the amp instead of the Helix, because that makes a difference as well. For me anyway, because the way that I attack a guitar or play or pick or whatever, how it reacts back to me makes a big difference in my playing. So I want to see if there's a huge difference. And in the on this weekend, I was going A-Bing through the real amp, through the Helix, and back and forth. And there was a little bit, but I think it had more to do with the volume of that Friedman. Every time you hit it, it was instant, like that percussive type of feel, which is what I'm after. I can get that out of the Helix with, setting it up properly, but with an amp, it's easier to get that. Brad Egan says, I had a friend that had a Fender Showman 212 100-watt. It stood its ground live against a full 100-watt stack. Fender stuff, it's pretty loud, man. And I've seen, so many people use them live, so I can't imagine them being, lightweights when it comes to performing live with them. Stafford Music Studio, how's it going, brother? I didn't get a chance to be at your live show on Friday, but I did watch the replay, so I always enjoy your shows. Janice, how's it going, Janice? Lala. All right, so let me see what else we've got here. Jack the Rabbit says, have you tried other modelers beside the Helix? I've tried them, but not enough to really dive deep into them. I tried the Head Rush because it was on display at one of the events that I went to, so I just plugged into it and tried it, but I didn't really play with the parameters and set them up that way. I've never tried an Axe Effects. I've seen them, but I've never plugged into one. And the Boss stuff, I've plugged into them, but I've never really tried to configure them or work with them that way. The Helix has been pretty much what I've been, as far as modeling goes. That was what I focused on, and that's pretty much the interface that I'm used to. So Quentin James says, my first amp was a Super Twin 180 tube watts, baby. Yeah, that would be loud. Let me see, what do we got? Okay. So what do you say we have a look at a few news items? There's not that much as far as news. Today is Richie Coxon's birthday, though. I did notice that. Some of you guys are familiar with Richie. Let me go here. Speaking of Fender, they did release a bunch of new pedals. I think they released them late last year, but they're starting to show up in stores now. Let me see if I can switch this. I put that up and then switch that. There we go. Cool. Marco's Images, what's going on? Go see Shane in the Blues. He's raving about that Fender amp. I did watch his videos about it because I've been looking it up online since I tried it on the weekend. So I did see his video about it. I know a lot of people are liking that amp. It's pretty impressive for what it is. Yeah, so these new Fender pedals look pretty cool. The one that I'm kind of intrigued by, if I went with the amp, just an amp without going through my Helix or whatever, there's one called the Compulist or Compu. How do you say it? Puglist? I can't even say it. Compulist or whatever. Basically, it's a compression and distortion in one pedal, and it has a couple of few little parameters that you can adjust on it that make it pretty interesting. I've seen some demos online about it, and it works very well. So that might be something I want to try. And the other one that's getting a lot of good reviews is that Reflecting Pool. It's basically for what you pay compared to getting like an Eventide or something like that. You're getting a lot of cool options with reverb and delay with that one. It's basically this big blue pedal that you see on the screen here. And for the price, I mean, Jesus, I think it's just over $200. And when you compare it to like some of the higher end Strymons and stuff, you're, less than half the price. And the people I've seen that have reviewed it have been quite impressed with it. So that's pretty cool. The other interesting story is the guy that designed Daryl Dimebag's Dean here. He's suing Dean, apparently. I think they were in court before and something happened and it went away for a while, but now he's come back after them because Dean has still been selling the Dimebag model, as far as I know, it hasn't stopped. And I guess they weren't paying the rights back to this guy, the designer. His name is Buddy Webster, is the guy that designed this the Dean Dimebag guitar. And I guess he's not been getting paid, so he's going to court to sue Dean. Poor Dean, man. They're between the Gibson stuff that happened last year with the lawsuits and this and that, and now they're getting sued by the guy who, jeez. The court fees themselves must be friggin' pain in the ass for those guys. I met the guys from Dean when I was at NAMM. I had a chance to go up to there. They had a private room, and I met Tone King and Phil McKnight. They were on their way up, and I just walked into them. Me and JJ, House of Jams, were walking through NAMM, and we ran into Tone King and Phil, and they were at the elevator going up to see the Dean guys. And they say, hey, come on up with us. So we went up with them. So we got up there, and I think Tone King did an interview with the president or CEO of Dean and stuff. So they're definitely still doing business and creating. They've got a new logo apparently too. So they're still going strong or trying to anyway. But now they're back in court with this guy who designed, or he must have been the lead designer on this guitar. And he's not getting paid apparently. So interesting. And we've got Gibson still, and it's a good story. Every time we talk about Gibson, lately it's always been good, but we always seem to have some negative stuff too that comes up here and there. But this one is pretty interesting. Well, interesting. I think we all know that Gibson is putting a lot of resources into Epiphone this year, and Kramer apparently. And this is an interview that the CEO gave, I guess, a few days ago regarding some of the plans for the Epiphones and the Kramers and stuff. So they're going to really push that brand. I think Epiphone will do very well this year with the quality that they've got out now. I'm just, I'm not really concerned. I'm just wondering, maybe you guys can tell me too what you guys think. If Epiphone makes a guitar that has virtually the same electronics and it's built as well or equal to its Gibson counterpart at a quarter of the price, does that hurt Gibson, the actual, the brand itself? Because people would say, well, I really want a Les Paul Standard with a nice 50s neck on it. I'm going to go buy the Epiphone for $500, which gives you the Gibson pickups, CS pots. The finish is incredible. I mean, does it at one point balance out? I don't know. Like, what do you guys think? I just wonder about that, because and they're really going to push the promotion of Epiphone this year, so they're going to put a big push behind advertising and getting it out to all the distributors. So there'll be a lot of stock in stores. I think it's a good thing because it'll give people options other than going with really cheap knockoffs that you really don't know what the quality will be like, or you don't have a big brand behind it to support it. But I don't know. It's a weird situation to be in, right? But we'll wait. For me, Gibson means something as far as the name, but you never know. Some people might say they might have planned to buy a Standard or whatever, a real Gibson. Not that Epiphone is the real deal too, but it's just different. So I don't know. That might be something to watch in the next year to see if it did affect actual Gibson Les Paul sales or Gibson SG sales, where people have opted to buy the Epiphone version since they are on par now. Tom R.I. says, Brian, have you tried the Even Dyed H9? If you want studio quality modulation, it's great. I've heard a lot about the H9. I have never tried it. But definitely, if I was in the market for something like that, it would be high on the list of pedals to look at for sure. So let me go back here. That was pretty much it for the news stories for me tonight. Good God, stop suing each other enough, right? I know the lawyers are making a lot of money in this day and age, because everything seems to be a court battle, including the government. So, Hank Hill, Dean just signed Kerry King from Slayer 2. I know, right? So, man, if you're going to be fighting battles in court and you're signing these huge endorsement deals with some people like Kerry King, man, you better have some large resources. Thrash Metal says Slayer. Yes, sir. All right, I'm just trying to get down the chat here. If I did miss your name, I'm terribly sorry. I'm trying to keep up here, but if you do have a question, you know what to do. Tag me in there. I guess I can... oh, where is that? Where is my... Oh, cool. All right. And we are live. Am I on the right date? No, I didn't even write that properly. Look at that. Let me see if I can do a on-the-spot edit here. Yeah, let's do that, and push it. There we go. Gotta love it. Technology. All right. Yeah. Hey, Jason Wade. What's going on, brother? Long time no see. Monday was Palindrome date day. What is that? Palindrome. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. You lost me on that one, BV. I'm sorry. I'm slow tonight. It's been a crazy day, actually. And tomorrow I've got a huge day at work. I'm building out a new... I'm moving my studio in the college that I work for into a new location, and tomorrow we're installing a whole trussing thing for lighting and all that stuff. So it's going to be a busy friggin' day tomorrow to try to get that all configured, and then I got to move a bunch of equipment in the next 2 weeks into that new space, configure it, and get it all ready. So, yeah, fun times. But hey, could be worse things to do in life, I suppose. All right, let me see. Hank Hill says Gibson knows the people that can buy Gibsons will buy Gibson. They're smart to push their Epiphones. Yeah, I think that's the case. I just wonder sometimes if some people that were on the fence about buying an actual Gibson Les Paul, would they opt in for the Epiphone version? You never know. All right, Ben, we'll see you in 15 minutes or so and on your show. Let me see. Gibson sue Epiphone. No, I hope that doesn't happen. That'd be kind of weird. When it goes to court battle, only the attorney wins. You're absolutely right there, Tom. Absolutely. I don't understand that whole system people get into. It's the Seek and Destroy talent show from junior high. Oh, I guess I missed something with Thrash. Thrash is talking about something else there. Brad says, no, it won't hurt Gibson. It will open a whole new market to players that can't or do not want to spend on a Gibson. Very true. Very true. So we will see in the year, we'll see what the reports are after these Epiphones are out in the wild and people are buying them. We'll see how they do. I'm telling you, they're going to do well from what I've seen and what I've played. And it'll be fun to watch. Yeah, if they want to lose sales, they'd rather lose it to their own company, which Epiphone is part of Gibson. So I guess it all goes to the same pot, I'm assuming. Son of guns. Oh, you guys crack me up. I'm just getting... that. All right. I think I'm caught up. Lucas Flowers has a really good demo review on the new 50s Epiphone Les Paul Gold Top. Okay, Jason, good to know. I mean, I know the guitars are great because I played them at NAMM, and I was, very impressed with what I, saw and played for sure. Those Epis will sell out. Well, I know Cosmo, the store that I go to that really stocks a lot of gear, they've got an order coming in very soon, and they've got a lot of people asking for them. So they've already, they're not even in the store yet, and they're already getting people asking for them. So Hank says, what was the price range of the new Epiphones at NAMM? Price range was anywhere from $399 to $699, $799, depending on the model that you were looking at. But yeah, anywhere in that range. And I'm telling you, for that price, you're not going to find a better built and quality component guitar, in my opinion. Chuck Booth, still can't afford an Epiphone. Chuck, you can. Come on now. I don't know how good they make them in China. It's still not a Gibson. Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, Brian, when you try one, you'll see there's something to them. It will come with the coronavirus. Yeah, I hope not. Good Lord. I hope not. Freaking people out. So yeah, I talked a little bit about I was playing a Smeer song in the beginning here. So this year I just 99.9% sure that I am doing it. I got an offer to go play a show. Well, just a few songs in a show back in my hometown of New Brunswick. They have a big festival in the summer, and it runs on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's kind of and then there's a place where they have the big stage with all the bands that play and stuff. And on Friday night, the band that's playing there reached out to me because Smeer is pretty, it's got a good following in that area, and a lot of people still talk about Smeer and wonder if we'll ever do a reunion or if we'll ever get back together and stuff. That's not happening, but they reached out to me to ask me if I would be willing to come up on stage with them and play a couple of Smeer songs, or one Smeer song and some other song or whatever. It's because people would like to see me play and all that stuff. So I said, this would be cool in a way, but I played bass before, and the last time I played live on stage would be 2007. So it's a long time ago. So I think I'm going to take up the opportunity to do that because, why not? It'll be fun to try, and I'm going to go up as a guitarist now. That'll be the first time playing guitar live with a band in front of a pretty big crowd. I mean, the festival in Grand Falls usually at the Friday night shows and the Saturday night shows, you're looking at, upwards of 1,000 people anyway or more. So, yeah, that'll be talk about throwing yourself out into the fire after not doing something like that. So I think that's happening July 3rd this year. So I've already got the days booked to go travel, to go there and do the show. I'll probably be, depending on whatever amp I choose, there will be, there's the guys over there will have a 412 cabinet for me, and I'll just bring whatever head I want to use or rent one if I don't have one. And I'll probably bring the custom. I think that's the guitar for me to play live. So that's what I'm planning to do. So I've been practicing some Smeer songs because it's so weird. I wrote all that music, but I have to relearn it because after the band broke up in 2007 and I completely got out of music for over 10 years, I didn't play, and I rarely listened to my stuff. Like Smeer was not something I listened to in the truck or in the car or whatever. I just, You know, it's one of those things, you don't listen to your own music or watch your own videos sometimes. So now I have to go back and revisit some of these songs to figure out, because they're asking me, you know, can we play this one, this one, this one? So I'm going back and revisiting the ones that they want me to play to make sure I still remember them. And the tunings, again, are different. So I have to figure out, you know, what I was thinking back then when I wrote this stuff. So, yeah, it's an interesting dilemma to be in. But even my wife was like, you don't remember that? And I was, no, Jesus, I can't remember that riff. So then I have to relearn it. Mitch Heyman, what's going on, Mitch? How's it going? NAM only. So Quentin says NAM is only going to display the best guitars. Wait to see what hits the local stores. Yeah, that's true too. But I'm pretty confident that they're going to, you know, be very good. So, but check them out. Let's see. Stafford Studios says, I'm not sure. I think Gibson players rather spend the extra money and get the standard, but others with a smaller budget will buy the Epiphone. I don't think it will hurt Gibson. Well, it's possible. It's definitely possible. We will see. Zach says you'll do. Well, I hope so, man. It's going to be very different playing live after not doing it for, like I said, over 10 years. And playing guitar, not bass. Brad says, right on. If their bass player gets sick, let me know. I will let you know, Brad. I definitely will let you know. That'd be fun. That would be fun. I don't know what, I'm pretty sure Your Time, the song that I played, is one of the songs that I'll be playing, and then another Smeer or two, and probably a cover. I don't know if that'll be Metallica or something else. I have no idea. I have to talk to the guys and find out what they're looking to do. I have to go. So it's a Friday night, July 3rd, and I get into New Brunswick on the 1st of July. So it'll give the next day I'll be rehearsing with them. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little nervous, but you know, like I said the other day, step out of your comfort zone. When you're too comfortable, you don't grow as a musician or as a creative in general. So I will be stepping out of that comfort. Well, it's not out of my comfort zone. It's something I did for over 30 years playing live. But when you stop and you don't go back to it, and then you pick up a whole new instrument, it's it's a little intimidating, but it'll be fun. Just remember to breathe. Yeah, exactly, BV. I might have a shot of whiskey before I go up there, and that'll calm me down a bit. Paul Lou says, I ordered a new Epiphone. If it's as good as everybody's reporting, I'll keep it. If not, it'll go back to Sweetwater. Yeah, Paul, you were saying you ordered an SG, I think. So hopefully it's really good. I know the ones I tried anyway were pretty impressive, so I think you'll be happy with it. I'm pretty sure. Eddie Van Haskell, what's going on? Nice to see you, brother. I think how many people have bought Eppies over the year because they couldn't budget a Gibby. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I'm telling you, the new ones are on another level than even the old ones. So I think with that in mind, they'll do well. Let's see. Tom says, any chance of ever getting any bass videos from you? Well, I mean, I can, and I probably will. I don't know what I would, I'll try to do something different with it. I mean, jamming on a bass is very different than jamming with guitar. So maybe if I put out, some original jam tracks or something like that, I could go through and play or whatever. But I don't know if it's something that people want to see and are interested in. Right now, I'm a better bass player, I believe it or not, since picking up the guitar 2 years ago and learning what I've learned now. When I pick up the bass, I can definitely tell you that I'm a better bass player than I was back when I was playing bass 10 years ago, because I've learned a lot more theory. I've learned, more runs and stuff where it comes with scales and stuff. And when I go to the bass, a lot of that stuff is translating, and I'm getting, I just feel more comfortable with it. So I don't know. I keep the bass. I have the bass here, and I play it every now and then, but it's mostly a recording tool at this point. I write a song and then I record it and then I do the bass parts. So that's what I use it for. But if people are interested in getting a video of more bass content, I would look at that and do it. I wouldn't have a problem with doing that. I just want to make sure it's what people want to see. Tom says, I really like Al John. Al John's a great dude. Speaking of Al John, so it looks like I'll be going to Summer NAMM. Yeah. So that's the other thing. I'll be doing the New Brunswick thing, playing live on July 30th. Then I come back to Toronto, and a few days later I fly to Nashville to go to the Summer NAMM show. So I was speaking with Al John last week, apparently, and discuss some things that I'd like to do and that he'd like me to do while I'm there, and so it's great. I'm getting a good relationship with Gibson and Epiphone and Al John and everybody. So it's cool that they're putting me in the loop and they're giving me some opportunities there to go and create content with them, and that'll be a cool experience. I really enjoy. I love Nashville. I was there last summer, and I had a blast. I mean, it's just a vibe there that's different that I really enjoy. So that's on the list. I did book the flight and the hotel last week. So unless something drastically happens in the next 5 months or whatever that is, that's what I will be doing at this summer. I'm still on the fence on the Sweetwater thing. It's going to depend on the schedule, what I have going on at work, and if I can take the time off, because I'm doing Summer NAMM and I'm doing the New Brunswick thing, and there's a lot of stuff happening within that general time frame. So Sweetwater is still something I want to do. So I will try to make that happen. I just can't guarantee or not if I will be doing that. Tom says bass lesson tips. Yeah, you know what? I've never been too. People have asked me for lessons in the past, in general, and I've never considered myself. I should try it. Like I always say, step out of your comfort zone. That's something that I'm not very comfortable in, is teaching. I don't know. I'd have to think about it and see what I would teach, or somebody had something specific they needed to get more information or learn, or techniques or stuff like that. I could do something around that. Thrash's play the Cliff Burton solo. I played a huge part of that solo back when I was doing the Metallica tribute. This would have been 1990, 93, 94, in that time frame. I was in a Metallica tribute called Blacken, and part of that show I was doing that solo, and yeah, it's pretty involved. It was a lot of fun though. I really liked that. Oh yeah, I played For Whom the Bell Tolls and Creeping Death a lot. Yeah, those songs were definitely on the set list every night for sure. Let me see. Okay, you guys talking to each other there, which is good. Buy a Gibson bass. No, when it comes to basses, I'm pretty strict on what I like, and that's the Ernie Ball Stingrays. That was for many, many, many years. I think from 1997, I would say, until when the band broke up in 2007. That's all I ever played, was the Ernie Ball Stingray. That's my comfort zone. I played many other basses, just picking them up here and there. And before I got into Ernie Ball, I played a Charvel for a while. I played a Fender jazz bass, like the Duff McKagan jazz bass special, I think it was. I played that. I had a BC Rich when I was a kid. Hamer. I had a bunch of stuff, but when I landed on the Ernie Ball Stingrays, that was it for me. That's my comfort zone when it comes to basses. I love those basses, and the new ones are amazing. This one that I have back there, it's a new model, the 2018, I think they came out with the new model. It's the same thing, but it's got carved body shapes a little bit differently in the carved area, so it's more comfortable. It's got better electronics. It's got roasted maple neck, stainless steel. Like, it's amazing bass. So that's where my comfort zone is. So as much as I love Gibson, when it comes to basses, that's where I'm at. Let's see. Yeah, the Ernie Ball Stingrays are just amazing basses. So we're down to the top of the hour, folks. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. It was a lot of fun. Hope you guys had fun too. And I will be going live again this week because I have to run a test on my system here because I want to try streaming at a little bit higher bit rate. So right now I can only stream at 360, which is pretty sad, but it is what it is with the internet connection that I have here at home. I'm out in the country, so very limited in internet connections, so I have to kind of, what I stream at is very limited, but it has gone up a little bit in the last couple of months, so I want to do a test. I'll probably be doing that either Thursday afternoon or maybe Friday afternoon. So if you want to jump in and, we'll have maybe a 1 hour stream in that afternoon to just kind of talk gear or maybe do some jamming or whatever. But I want to try to bump it up a little bit in the resolution zone. So hopefully the system can handle it. We'll find out. So I'll have to test it. I'll go live with it and test it then. Yep. And that's how you do it. That's good there. Cool. So I hope you guys have a great week. If we don't see you before next Monday night, get out there, play some guitars. I'm sure we'll see you in the other chats. Go check out other shows. We've got Ben that's on right now. I think he's starting right now. We've got Phil Mosley Music at 9. We've got Live Wires on Wednesdays. We've got Stafford Studios on Friday nights. We've got Guitar Hack on Thursday. I mean, there's tons of great people in here that put out some great content all the time. And it's nice to see the support from the community. Everybody's supporting each other and doing some cool stuff. So definitely check that out, and I will keep you updated on the new guitar that's coming in tomorrow. Hopefully it comes in. It's scheduled to come in tomorrow from what I see on the tracking. So that'll be interesting. Some of you might know what it is, but I'm not going to say anything until I get it. So there you go. There you go. Metalhead Hippie, what's going on, brother? Dale Palmer, Janice. All right, folks. Jump into Ben's stream if you're not busy and not doing anything. And with that, I think we can call it an evening. What do you say, folks? Ivan Carter, nice to see you, brother. If you're just jumping in late and you want to watch the replay, go at it. It'll be there, archived. All right. Till next time, folks. Take care.